Hey, Ken Ma, I'm with none other than Luke Johns, AOY. Look, AOY, freaking champion, 3-time champion, right?
Yeah.
Just one of the younger guys that I definitely respect, and
Thank you.
Has had a great career and is going to keep going up.
Yeah, well, of course, Ken Ma, everybody knows him. We got the Delta King with us today. So, we're going to give you guys a little fishing report for what's going on in Northern California. Of course, me and Ken bass fishermen, so that's what we're going to be sticking to this week. I'm going to be talking about Folsom because that's right in my backyard, and that's what I've been fishing a lot. Just summer months, not so many tournaments going on right now, so been, just sticking to the home pond. And, of course, Ken, you're going to talk about Clear Lake, which you were just at for the Wand Bass. And then, of course, the Delta, because, who better to go to and talk about the Delta than you?
Kind of like it.
Yeah. You've had a decent track record over the last couple of years. It's been all right. So,
it's been okay.
Yeah, it's been all right. But, well, let's start it off with Clear Lake, actually. Yeah.
Okay, so I heard you and Ish talking about Clear Lake. I fished the Wand Bass California Open. I actually had a pretty decent day on day one. I think I was like in the 20th range. Had like 17 and a half pounds. Caught the majority of those fish on a vibrating jig. So, my co-angler was throwing a jackhammer. I was throwing a custom. I also threw a Thunder Cricket.
Nice.
Just variation. I don't stick to one brand because I think every brand has a different vibration. It has a different, has a different feel to it.
Definitely.
So caught fish doing that, and then I was Texas rigging a creature bait. So I did that the first day. Actually went pretty good. Because leading into it, I was, it's like a lot of these spring tournaments in Northern Cal this year. It's like, I'm not sure if I'm going to catch 5.
This year's been a different beast for that. I mean, it's really been every tournament's like, do I remember how to catch a limit or,
It really has been, so if you're viewing out there and you're having a up and down spring, same thing happens for us. I've had more days this year where I have blanked than I've had maybe in the past 10 years.
Oh, yeah.
So,
100%.
The rest of Clear Lake, the second day, my vibrating jig bite went away. I picked up a Texas rig on a 60-pound sunline braid, and I was pitching that around really deep grass that I could not see, but I was actually using the Lowrance Active Target, and I could see the grass. I could see fish swimming around in them.
Nice.
So I just backed up off of them and I threw a Texas rig. That's my finesse fishing. That's about as finesse as it gets.
Was it on a spinning rod?
It was not. I didn't even take a spinning rod to Clear Lake.
Oh, whatever.
And then day 3, I bounced back. I caught like almost 17 pounds. Again, made some more adjustments, but the winner, him and Jackson Juarez, they smashed him.
Yeah, they obliterated them.
Yeah, and they adjusted. I heard they were twitching swim baits and maybe doing a little bit of ripping, and also as the tournament wears on, as you will know, you gotta adjust. You can't fish yesterday, like you're gonna fish tomorrow, and you can't fish tomorrow like you fished yesterday.
Yeah.
So, but Clear Lake, the water is high. If you want to go, the algae bloom is starting to come in. The grass actually was growing really well there.
Yep.
So for those anglers that want to go fish grass, up around that north end, I think the fishing is going to be really good coming up in the summer months, because Clear Lake has a really good reputation. July and August, you can go there and catch 20, 30, fish a day.
Yeah.
So, for me, I would, Texas rig, I'd pick a flipping stick up, a frog, double buzz, all that fun stuff.
Yep. Of course.
A chopo or a plopper, all that stuff. And I would fish all that grass and around all those docks. There's literally water everywhere in the lake, because it's only like about a foot or a foot and a half down from full pool.
It's amazing.
It really is. It really is. So if you're thinking about going to Clear Lake, I would definitely consider that. I would put that high on my list.
Yeah. And water temp, water color up there right now?
Yeah.
Anything?
No. So when I was there, which was about 2.5 weeks ago, water temps actually in the afternoon got close to 80.
Wow.
Yeah. So it was like 70 in the morning, and on that lake it warms up really fast. So I saw, a couple times I saw 80, and but 77 to 78 in the afternoon. And that warm water there, when they really get post spawn there.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. They really, those fish will eat and they'll bite. They'll eat vibrating jigs. They'll eat traps. Things like that. And then for those people that don't want to fish that way, you can go to mid lake. You can go to the south end, and you can drag football jigs, drop shots, right? You can fish all that stuff,
Yeah.
you know, and
Yeah.
and the catfish bite's phenomenal.
Oh, that's what I heard.
Oh,
I heard
my
you guys
gosh.
were smoking them up there. Hunter was telling me, you know, he was catching them pretty good.
I had a day in practice where I literally probably had close to 60 pounds for 5 in cats. It was pretty fun. And
If
they
you're a
tick it.
cat fisherman, what do you need up there, right? Chatterbaiting them too? or
Yeah,
what?
if you're gonna
Pranking?
if you want to go up there and catch some catfish around the grass, I got that pattern dialed.
Yeah.
Any type of green pumpkin or crawdad type of bait, if you want to go up there and have a blast, you can definitely just slow roll that. You know, your boat's sitting, you know, talking about catfish, you know, boat's sitting probably in 12 or 14.
Yeah.
And then, you know, if you have active target or something like that, you just kind of see where the grass ends. And, you know, on active target too, you can actually make out, you know, like what's not a bass and that kind of stuff.
Oh, yeah. So you can see the whiskers. And
Well, not that crazy.
Yeah.
But, you know, you cast out there and you can slow roll anything green pumpkin, those catfish are freaking just,
it's game on.
oh, it's, yeah.
Is that the first catfish report you've ever done?
It is.
Nice.
It is.
I feel honored.
Yeah.
Feel honored.
Yeah, it is. It is.
Nice,
So,
nice.
Okay, Folsom.
Folsom. Yeah. So, you know, I know we talked about this last time, but Folsom, it's been pretty good this year. We're finally starting to get into the slower months of the year for Folsom Lake. So we're getting into that summertime kind of lull right now after that post-spawn. Water temps, we're looking at 72 to 74, depending on where you are on the lake. Of course, you can get up into the thermocline, find some colder water up in the rivers, but we're not really getting a whole lot of bites up there right now. So what I've been doing, I fish a lot in the afternoons out there, you know, getting off work and just driving out for the afternoon. But what I'm targeting right now, I keep it pretty simple when it comes to this time of the year. And it's a really easy lake to break down. And I think it translates over to a lot of different Northern California lakes, especially.
Yeah, you fish Folsom, kind of like, or Oroville, you kind of fish similar.
Shasta-ish, you know, in a sense. But, you know, I'm looking for offshore structure right now. That's, of course, one of the top patterns. When you go to, you know, the summertime fishing, that's what you think about. You're fishing, you know, 20 or 30 feet deep on a lot of these spotted bass reservoirs, trying to find those fish that have pulled out, and they're just sitting there.
Spinning rod?
Maybe a spinning rod a little bit, and then a bait caster a little bit too. But yeah, spinning rod for the most part.
So you go out in the afternoon. You know, I don't fish Folsom that much. You know, we
Yeah.
were there for the Apex Championship that you won.
Yeah.
How do people, you know, get away from, you know, 'cause I always hear there's so much boat traffic.
There is.
You know, so you know, how would people, you know, if they want to, you know, go in the afternoon or stay longer, you know, I mean, is there ways for them to get out of that that boat traffic?
So there is. So I've kind of got a rule on Folsom. So in the week time, it's generally okay on the lake if you're there in an evening. You know, you'll have boat traffic, but it's fishable.
Like Monday through Thursday, you're talking about.
Yeah, Monday through Thursday. Okay. You're good if you're out there, no matter what time of the day it is during a weekday. You're gonna be okay. If it gets to the weekend, I have a rule where I'm on the lake at sunrise and I'm off the lake at 11 o'clock or noon, because it just
And then how about
gets to
sunset?
be pretty messy.
Is it the boat traffic pretty much stay till sunset too?
Yeah, there is a decent amount of the boat traffic till sunset. You know, I'd really, if you are going to go in the evening time on a weekend, I would avoid Brown's Ravine, just because they have a really tight launch ramp when the water's high like it is right now. It's 2 lanes, and there's no extra lanes outside of the dock. I know a lot of us that, you know, fish a lot. We can trailer our boats without a dock. It's no problem. So all the other ramps offer that. So, you know, if there's 10 ski boats waiting for the dock, you could just pull up next to them and beach your boat and go up, and you're good.
So if I had a kid,
Go ahead.
good. If I had a kid,
Yeah.
and I wanted to go to Folsom,
If you want to go to Folsom.
right? What 2 rods and 2 baits would I take for a kid? And if I want, and you're telling me to go from 6 in the morning to 6 to 10 or 6 to 11.
All right. So option A, we're going to keep it real simple for option A. So spinning rod, which I know you'll love. And then I'd bring a drop shot. Okay. That would probably be number 1. So I 1/4 ounce weight on that thing. Okay. And then I'll use a size number 2 mosquito hook. And then I'll nose hook a variety of different plastics. So one of my favorites, Yamamoto shad shaped worm, just a really small shad profile. You know, but you could throw whatever your confidence little soft plastic worm is. I would just go with that. Try to match, you know, something more shad like, or, you know,
like
go
a
with
Slim
a pink
Senko or something like that.
Slim Senko would be great. Yeah. Okay. But, you know, go with something either pink, shad color, or green pumpkin. You can't go wrong.
Okay.
Any three of those colors get bit out there.
And you're saying 20 to 30.
Yeah. I'd say right now 20 to 30 feet is a really good depth. You can catch some fish shallower, but what I noticed, you get a lot of the largemouth shallow this time of year, which is great. You can catch some bigger fish doing that, but they're harder to catch. So a lot of those spots will pull back out onto that deeper rock.
Those are the ones I want to catch.
Yeah. You can leave the
ones.
shallow ones to Ken, but if you just want to go catch numbers, find a deeper bite, and those fish are more consistent. They're less likely to get affected by that boat traffic, which I talk about so much, because some people don't know how to drive their boats out there, and they'll drive right over your rock pile in 10 feet. So, and that does tend to mess up the bite just a little bit. And then aside from that, another one that's really good, if you can find some deeper fish, is just dragging something like a hula grub. Throw it on a
old
quarter
school
ounce
twin tail
to a half
twin
ounce.
tail.
Yep, old school. And literally just drag that thing across the bottom. I mean, it's pretty brainless. You could just go out there and throw it on whatever rock pile you find.
That's why I don't go there.
It's real easy. And of course, I mean, aside, your kid might not, be ready for this yet, but throwing topwater this time of the year. If you can walk a bait, you can catch a lot of fish out there right now.
Okay.
And that's where you'd like to go fish it, because then it starts to get a little bit more
I
fun.
can throw topwater, let my nephew or something drag something.
Yeah, exactly. So you can throw a walking bait of any sort, and of course you can throw that over those island tops in 30 feet of water. I mean, it's amazing. I've learned with the live scope this year. I've never had it before this, but it's crazy how far those fish will come up to look at something like that.
I saw that at Almanor.
They'll come from 20 or 30 feet.
A long ways.
Even if you can't see that far into the water, they'll hear that thing walking
and
across.
you'll see them jetting up to it.
Oh yeah. So keep a topwater rod in your hand, keep a drop shot in your hand, and keep a hula grub in there.
Okay.
And realistically, I mean, that's pretty much what I fish in the Wednesday nighters out there. I don't want to give up too many of my secrets, because I like
like Shane's listening or something like that.
Yeah, just in case one of those guys is listening. But I mean, I keep it simple out there, and you could catch some really big fish on those three techniques. I mean, it's always consistent, and there's always opportunity for you to go out and catch something big.
Okay.
But I mean, of course, this isn't a Ken Ma interview without
I get pigeonholed into the Delta.
The Delta. So let's hear it.
I've actually haven't been there for over a month. And in the last week I've been there, in the last 7 days I've been there 4 days. Right. So I took a little month gap because I went to Clear Lake fish one bass, Clear Lake Open. And then so in the last 7 days I've been on the Delta for 4. And really the bite is phenomenal. It really is. As far as numbers.
Yeah.
I've been taking my nephew out. He's 15 years old. He's really hooked on bass fishing, but he's still learning.
Nice.
So it's important, to keep him engaged and for him to catch fish and things like that. So for the Delta right now, I mean, I'm just catching like a lot of fish in that 1.5 to 2.25 pound range. And when I mean a lot, I'm like, no exaggeration, I'm catching 15 to 20 of them on a vibrating jig.
Nice.
Green pumpkin, a little bit of red. I'm actually throwing a big bite kamikaze swim on trailer. I like that trailer. It's a little Ford trailer, but I really like that. I throw cuts. Like I said, I own every brand of vibrating jig I think there is, because you can't get stuck on one, and that's why because like I said, the vibration and things like that. So if you went out and did that, obviously still look for the grass around some current, because if you fish the grass outside of the current, it's just all sticky and gummy.
Yeah.
And you just cannot throw that vibrating jig through that.
And what kind of grass are you looking for? Because I know that's probably one of the biggest things when people hear about the Delta. They hear about the grass, but you've got 20 different types of grass that you can find out there.
Yeah, so for me, it's not, I don't see the Delta bass and like the Clear Lake bass. Sometimes the Clear Lake bass will get on a piece of grass, and they want that type of grass. For me, the Delta is more, it's where like two grasses mix together.
Yep.
Right. It's where the grass creates a point or an irregularity. That's the kind of stuff I'm looking for. But this time of year, I think the most important thing is that your grass needs to be next to some current.
Okay.
Right. Because those fish, in late June, now almost July, they're really getting into their summer patterns. They're off the beds. They want to get in that current. I feel that the Delta is really healthy. There's grass in a lot of places that's not being sprayed. There's a lot of cheese in a lot of places. And so that vibrating jig is just, if you want to go out and just catch some fish, it's a really fun and effective way to catch them. The other ways I've been catching them is I've been getting bites on a frog, because there is a lot more cheese than I've seen in recent years. So throwing a frog up there, I like Ish's Fat Matt Daddy frog. I like that frog, from River to Sea. So that's the one I kind of been throwing a lot. I like to throw a Jackal Gavacho a lot. And then the other thing I've been catching probably quite a few fish on is either a plopper or a chopo.
Nice.
Nice. So for me, it's always it's always about power fishing for me, because that's when I have fun. I don't I use the term that my finesse is a 1 ouncer. So
pretty accurate for you.
So and I'm catching some fish punching, but when you're catching so many on a vibrating jig and you're getting bites on topwater, when you're punching, you have flipping, so that's a lot of work. So if I don't have to do that work, and go out with my nephew or somebody like that who's a little more novice, I'd rather just do those things. But overall, the Delta, it looks healthy. I haven't seen a sea lion in a month or two, and there are a lot of fish biting. The biggest fish I caught in the last 4 days was about a 4-pounder.
Okay.
So I'm not catching any giants, but I'm catching, like I said, a lot of fish in that 1.5 to 2.25 pound range, which are fun.
Yeah. So
and
if
then
you're going to just fun fish,
like I went yesterday. I went yesterday and probably caught 22 to 25 of them yesterday.
Jeez. Yeah.
Yeah. And you're catching, 12 to 15 on a vibrating jig. And then I'm catching the other, 10-ish or so on topwater.
Nice.
And
you can't beat topwater fishing. ever.
You just can't. I'd rather throw topwater and get 5 bites.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh yeah.
Then throw something else and get 10 bites.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just, you can't beat it.
Yeah. That's cool.
Yep.
That's great. And water temp down there right now?
It's still,
well, you've got so many different water temps.
But it's still, with the current and everything, it's still in the mid 70s.
Nice.
So it's cooler than it is at Clear Lake because of the flow. Water temp's really not an issue this time of year. The biggest thing that you want to look for if you're going to go out and you have an option, is wind.
Yeah.
Right. You just kind of you don't want those real windy days on the Delta, because when the wind's blowing 15 or 20 miles an hour, it just, makes it almost impossible to throw topwater, so it really cuts your things down, your options down. But water temp's not an issue. Watercolor's great. And on the Delta, unlike Folsom, you can absolutely get away from the recreational traffic.
100%.
There's no, you can,
everywhere.
There's so many sloughs, so many backwaters, and so many flooded islands that you could get into and basically feel like you're alone on the Delta. That's what I love about it.
Yeah.
So, 3 places to go, whatever you want to do. You want to pick a drop shot and a hula grub up, and beat the traffic, get out early to Folsom.
Yep.
If you want to run up to Clear Lake, boat traffic's usually not as bad there. You can pick up a Texas rig, put your favorite piece of plastic on it, throw a vibrating jig there, throw some topwater. And then obviously the Delta, you can hide from almost everybody there.
Yep.
And I think the fishing's good at all 3 places.
Yep, it is. I mean, it's cool. We've had a good year so far, so hopefully the fishing stays good, and hopefully you guys are catching some fish out there. So if you guys want to hear us or me and somebody else talk about a different lake, be sure to leave that in the comments down below. Let us know what you guys want to learn about. That's what we're here to do. Yeah. We're here to teach you. And of course, Ken, where can people, if people want to reach out to you, of course, you're all over social media.
I'm on Instagram, Facebook at Ken Mile Promotions.
Yep.
When this video goes live, if you guys leave comments down below the here in the video, I'm usually good about getting on there, and I'll answer questions about anything that Luke and I talked about today.
Yep. Same goes for me. So, all right, guys. Well, we'll see you in the next video. Thanks for tuning in.